Yo, you're Kill Dominus the gang. You're back with another video, and today we're gonna be doing our prediction for the NFL playoffs. We're gonna do the whole playoff. I'm gonna go talk about each team for a good little bit, hopefully. Then we're gonna do it, man. We get our predictions in, and I'm gonna try to make this unbiased as I can. Who I really think is gonna win, and we're gonna see who is right. We did this for basketball playoffs when it started last year, and our championship was right because we did say the Celtics was gonna win the championship, and we was correct on that. And well, mainly because I'm a Celtics fan. So, but I did get the championship wrong. I think I had Denver going or something. But it's football now. The whole season's came to an end. I've had fun watching the whole season. So many good games, teams, and now it's time for the playoffs. And so let's go ahead and get into it. Like, comment, subscribe, comment down below who you think is going to win the Super Bowl this year. And let's just go ahead and get into it. So we're gonna start off with the wild card round. So for the AFC, we got the number 7 Denver Broncos versus the number 2 Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. And before I say who I think is gonna win, Denver has surprised me this year. I didn't have Denver as a playoff team going into this year, and Buffalo surprised me too. They played better than what I thought it was gonna be this year because I didn't even have them winning their division. But I will say I think Denver could make it tough for Buffalo with that defense because Buffalo, I don't know. For some reason, I feel like kind of shaky with them or streaky with them at times because sometimes they can have some duds games. Then sometimes Josh Allen go out there and put up 40. And I don't believe in Buffalo's defense at all. But I will be taking Buffalo over Denver, even though I do think Denver could make it tough with how good their defense is. But another thing is they have PS2 and they usually shadow PS2 over the best receivers. But like Buffalo has a really like a group of guys, receiver by committee type deal. So I feel like that can maybe cause some troubles. Maybe if Buffalo had a receiver, like maybe they still had Stephon Diggs and nobody else, I'll trust Denver more. But I was going with Buffalo no matter what. So I do get Buffalo winning that matchup in Buffalo. Then matchup after that, we can go to the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Baltimore Ravens. Pittsburgh Steelers, the whole year, I didn't believe in nothing they was doing. And now everybody's really saying, like, well, they're not good at all. I don't believe in them. And their defense is starting to not even play as good anymore. That's the only thing they had going for them because I never believed in their offense. So I think it'll be Baltimore pretty easily. They're playing great football right now with Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry. And that defense is playing really good now. So not too much to talk about. I think they'll win easily. Then Chargers versus Houston. Now this game, I can actually see it going either way. I don't think the Texans have played good football at all lately. But for some reason, I feel like maybe they could come out and play pretty good at home against the Chargers. And they both have good defenses. I'll give them that. Texans and Chargers have good defenses. But their offenses, I don't know. Chargers offense could be slanky sometimes. Texans offense has been slacky for the past couple of weeks. But I'm going to go with the Chargers. Someone's telling me to go with the Chargers. I think it will be the Chargers that will go. And wait, should I? Yeah, we'll go to the NFC. So a division round for the playoffs. We'll get into that later. So NFC, we got the number 7 Green Bay Packers taking a trip to Philadelphia. Number 2 Philadelphia Eagles. And these teams matched up week 1 against each other. Philadelphia won that game. I do think the Eagles are a completely different team than they were week 1. And the defense play better. I think the run game is better. And I say the offense is better. Jalen Hurts should be back for this game. I think they already say. I think he did like practice or something last week, or maybe I think he did a walkthrough on Saturday or something. But I think Jalen Hurts is gonna play. And the Packers do have some injuries, but Christian Watson and Jair's not gonna play. Hopefully Jordan Love's good. I haven't checked up on it, but I'm assuming that he's gonna play. But either way, I'm still gonna pick the Eagles in Philly. Green Bay was my dark horse team coming into the year. I really thought they could make some noise here, but Green Bay has really failed to beat any good teams this year, because they lost to Detroit twice. They lost to the Vikings. They lost like all against all good teams. They lost to Philly. So I'm gonna go with Philadelphia. I think the Eagles will beat them kind of easily. Commanders versus Tampa Bay. Washington taking that trip to Tampa, and I'm gonna go with the Commanders. I think that's the underdog pick right here. I don't know. I really don't have a reason to pick the Commanders over Tampa Bay. Well, I feel like they're gonna win. I just think they're gonna win. I don't know. Maybe just some Jaden Daniels, like CJ Stroud vibes from last year, and they won a playoff game. So that's pretty a terrible reason for me to pick them. But I just feel like Washington's gonna win. So I don't really have too much to say about that game. I think it should be a good, entertaining game though. And so now we got the number 5 Minnesota Vikings taking the trip to LA for the Los Angeles Rams. And the Vikings just played Detroit last night, and Sam Darnold did not look good. I was pretty high on the Vikings. I think they're a good team, but I'm not. I was high on the Vikings as a regular season team. I was really never that high on them going into the playoffs. And even though the Rams offense has looked pretty shaky for the past couple weeks, but I still believe in Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford and Puka, Kyron, and all them guys over there, Cooper Kupp, who has been having a down year, but I still think he has a little juice left. I'm going to go with the Rams at home. Underdog pick right here. I'm going to go with the Rams. So, yeah. Then the division round, I think the division round in the AFC is like perfect. So, and NFC, I kind of don't like some of these matchups, maybe. Cause I wish maybe Green Bay could have been to the second round or Minnesota. But, hey, let's go back to the AFC. So, we have the Chargers going to Kansas City. I think it should be Kansas City pretty easily. We know how Patrick Mahomes is in the playoffs with Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, all them guys. That defense has been good with Spokes. And I think it should be Kansas City pretty easily. But I do give credit to the Chargers. A lot of people didn't have Chargers going to the playoffs, including myself. Jim Harbaugh came in, did his thing year one. I do like what the Chargers are building over there with Jay Harbaugh, Lad McConkey. I like what they're doing. J.K. Dobbins had a real good year, but injuries and all. So, but I will go Kansas City pretty comfortable with picking Kansas City. Now, of course, in this divisional round, we got Baltimore going up to Buffalo. And these teams did play each other earlier in the season. Baltimore won, very convincing. And now, that wasn't Baltimore, now they're in Buffalo. And my prediction is that Baltimore. Well, I'm going to each team. I think Baltimore right now, I think probably the hottest team in football right now, in my opinion. They're playing probably top 2 best. Them and Buffalo has been pretty hot. And they're playing great football right now. The defense is really coming along. The run game with Derrick Henry. If they're short Derrick Henry, like I feel like they will in this playoff run, they should do their thing. The only thing I'm really worried about with Baltimore right now is the penalties at times. And I think Todd Monken, they should run the ball more, because I feel like last year at time, like really against Kansas City, they only ran the ball like 6 times, and they should have ran the ball way more, because I feel like there's opportunities if they make that run game, the run game that they could have beat Kansas City last year. That's my opinion. And they still some couple plays away, some big plays away, but there was plays away from beating Kansas City last year. But the year we go over there to Buffalo, who's been playing lights out. Josh Allen's been playing lights out, putting up 40 every now and then. And Lamar's been playing lights out too. Credit him. 2 MVP runners right there. I'll give you my little accolade, so I think it's gonna win every accolade, in my opinion, at the end of the video. But they're playing lights out football right now on offense. The defense is really scares me about Buffalo, because the defense, Josh Allen go out there and give you 40 points, but they'll give up 40 right back with you. But in Buffalo, I think I'm gonna go with the Baltimore Ravens beating Buffalo in Buffalo. I feel like they'll go up there. Their defense is good enough to maybe get some stops and stop. And Baltimore's offense is so hot right now, rolling. I feel like and when they get that run game sorted, well, I think Buffalo's not good against the run. I feel like Baltimore can have their way and control the clock. I do think it'll be a little closer than the first time, but I think Baltimore could win maybe by 10 points. I think Baltimore will win by 10 points going in there. So I'm going Baltimore, and my AFC Championship will be a rematch of last year. So let's go to the division round in NFC. We got Washington going up against Detroit. I wasn't that high going into Detroit in this playoffs, but they moved me yesterday with how good that defense was playing. And I don't think Washington's going to go to the NFC Championship. So I'm going to go ahead and just put Detroit forward. Not too much to say about that. And the Rams versus Philly. They played each other earlier in this year. Philly ran all over the Rams, beat the stew out of them. And I like the Rams a lot. I love Sean McVay. I love Stafford. I think it will be closer than the first time I played. I think it'll be a little more closer. But I just don't think Philly's a good matchup for the Rams. So I'm just going with Philly. And so this will be my conference championships. Baltimore versus Kansas City, and Philadelphia versus Detroit. And if this is what we get, I think this is probably the best outcome ever. I know some people probably want to see Buffalo in there. But other than that, I think people love this. I don't think people have a problem with Baltimore versus Kansas City again, though. So it's going. Which side do we start with? We start with AFC still. So we got the Baltimore Ravens going up to Kansas City in Arrowhead. Patrick Mahomes, rematch of last year. They played each other week 1, 2. Kansas City won by an inch, pretty much, and it was a good game though. I enjoyed myself. I think Baltimore's a way better football team than it was at that time, and Kansas City's better. Kansas City has, I think Baltimore's offense is clipboard, and that was the first ever Derrick Henry game. But Patrick Mahomes, you can't really bet against Mahomes because last year I think I picked Mahomes against him like twice, and I did pick him in the Super Bowl, but I picked against twice. And really, you don't pick against Mahomes, but something's telling me to go with Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, how good they've been playing football and running the ball with Derrick Henry. I do think Derrick Henry is a game changer and will affect this game if it does happen. And their defense has been playing a lot better. I feel like they could get some stops on this Kansas City offense. It seems inconsistent at times. I'm going with Baltimore, going in there. They'll probably be the underdog, going in Kansas City and beating them. So I do have Lamar Jackson getting that burden off his back and getting to the Super Bowl and beating Kansas City. And all I got to say is, if Lamar does this, what can you really say? I ain't even going to say he wins the Super Bowl, but if he beats Pittsburgh, where people like to say he can't beat Pittsburgh, then beats Josh Allen, who's the other MVP frontrunner with him, then goes into Arrowhead and beats Pat Mahomes, and going to Buffalo and beat Josh Allen, not too much you can really say about his playoff resume no more. I think that really just end all that. Then over here, we got Philadelphia going against Detroit, which a lot of people was arguing about a couple weeks ago before Detroit had so many injuries. There's like, who would win? They really match up really well, I feel. If Detroit could really still play like how they played last game, I think it would be a good game. I do think it would be close, but, I think Philadelphia, they can sort that run game with Saquon Barkley and get some mismatches on A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, which I don't really trust Detroit's corners like that. Their secondary, and I feel like they're going to have to stack the box on Saquon because Saquon has just been so unstoppable this year. And Philadelphia defense has been really good this year. And it will be in Detroit, but Philadelphia's defense has been really good this year. They did have that one duck game, but if Jalen Hurts plays, I think they'll be good. Keep them off the field. Keep some long drives going on with Jalen Hurts and Saquon. And they have Dallas Goedert back, which is real good for them. And they're pretty healthy right now. Not too many people out for them. Detroit does have a lot of people out, but they do have Jahmyr Gibbs, who ran wild against the Vikings. And they have Amon. They got Jameson Williams is breaking out this year. Jared Goff has been playing well. And their defense did play really good last night, but I still have a couple questions about Detroit's the injuries. And Jared Goff is good for a couple picks, maybe, potentially. Depends how safe he is with the football, because he has his boneheaded moments when he turns the ball over. But something's telling me to go with Philadelphia going into Detroit and beating them. So I really have both of the road teams going into the home team and beating them, the number 1 seeds, which is crazy. Then into the Super Bowl, we got Baltimore Ravens versus the Philadelphia Eagles, a rematch of what happened a couple weeks ago, probably like 5 weeks ago. And Philadelphia really had their way running the ball over Baltimore. But I think this is a different Baltimore team. And their run game, defense, all that's been playing better. What I said, Philadelphia does a lot of those things well too. With defense have been playing better. The run game's good. They have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Jalen Hurts, I feel like, is playing. Before he went out with the concussion, I thought he was starting to play really better passing the ball. That's one thing about Philadelphia I wanted to see them more is passing the ball, and they did it for that one game. We really didn't get to see it enough, but I feel like they were gonna have success passing the ball against Green Bay who doesn't have Jair Alexander. They'll be warming up that pass game. Then I feel like they're gonna have pass success against the Rams. His secondary isn't all that. Then Detroit, I feel like it's gonna be hot, and Detroit has a weaker secondary. And I feel like they're going to be heating up that pass game with Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Goddard and Dotson, who has a couple. He's not that bad in my opinion. So it's going to be tough. New Orleans, Baltimore versus Philadelphia, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Derrick Henry, Saquon. A lot of stuff going on in here. I didn't mention that Baltimore might not have Zay Flowers for week 1. But I don't think it's too serious, Zay Flowers' injury. I think if he did miss week 1, he'll be there for Buffalo. And I think they could beat Pittsburgh with or without Zay Flowers, not going to lie. But hopefully he does play against Pittsburgh. I'd like to see him play. Because him and Lamar have been really good this year. But my Super Bowl prediction, who wins? Baltimore and Philadelphia. I like both of these teams a lot. I wouldn't be mad if either one won. But my prediction will be the Baltimore Ravens winning the Super Bowl. And Lamar Jackson will be your Finals MVP. Getting our burden off his back. doing what he said he was going to do on draft night. So I do have the Baltimore Ravens winning the Super Bowl. So you can comment down below, who do you think is going to win? Let me know how you feel about my prediction. And do you agree with me with Baltimore and Philadelphia, or do you have maybe Kansas City and Detroit, or Buffalo and Philly, or Buffalo and Detroit, or something like that? Maybe comment down below what you think. Let me give my quick little award things who I think is gonna win. For MVP, well, I'll do MVP last. For offensive rookie of the year, I think it should obviously be Jaden Daniels. Then defensive rookie of the year, Jared Verse. Coach of the year, I feel like should be KOC, Kevin O'Connell. What he's done over there in Minnesota has been great this whole year. Then what we got? Offensive player of the year, defensive player MVP. Defensive player of the year, I feel like should go to a corner. Should go to PS2 for the Denver Broncos. I feel like he's been great this whole year. And he shadows the receivers, which is good. Then offensive player of the year is really stuck between two. I feel like if the Bengals did sneak in, maybe there would have been a real case for Jamar Chase, but they missed the playoffs. So it's going to be Saquon, which I don't have a problem with. I like Saquon a lot. He's been great this year. I wish he would have broke the record, but he didn't play, which is cool and all. So they do have a lot of pressure to go to the Super Bowl and probably win it, even though I do have them losing to the Ravens. But Saquon Barkley is offensive player of the year. Then my MVP, which has been so controversial this year, it's going to be Lamar, Josh Allen. Some people say Joe Burrow. You can't give it to Joe Burrow. He didn't make the playoffs. But it's between Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. And I feel like a lot of people like to change the goalposts from last because Lamar won, but he didn't have the best stats. And some people bring the argument up, but I was like, Josh Allen threw like 18 picks or something last year. He had a lot of turnovers last year. And you can't give it to a quarterback that has a lot of turnovers. Like, I don't think James Winston was in the argument for MVP. Well, they didn't even make the playoffs, so never mind. But yeah, I just think Lamar really is the eye test. I know a lot of people, and he leading every single stat. I know some pro football stats, whatever, are leaning a little bit more towards Josh Allen, but Lamar's leading, has more passing yards, passing touchdown, less picks, passer ratings higher, yards per attempts, all that's higher, more rushing yards. Josh Allen only really has more rushing touchdowns in terms of like stats like that. But I do feel like the MVP should be Lamar Jackson. I don't think he's going to win it, but I feel like he should be the real MVP. I think they will give it to Josh Allen. Maybe because voter fatigue is getting onto Lamar, but I feel like Lamar should win it, in my opinion. If it was up to me, if I had a vote, I'll give it to Lamar Jackson. What he's done this year has been spectacular, especially for him, because some people didn't even think he could throw the ball. Like, he would never be this good of a pocket passer. And yeah, sorry, my fault. But some people never thought he would be as good as polished as a passer as he is. And some people are like, his ceiling is like he could be really good, but I think nobody anticipated him being really this good at it. Which, in terms of football this year, he's been probably like top 2 passing quarterbacks in the league. And his interceptions, he has 4 for the year. 3 of them, just like really just receivers like bouncing off of them and getting picked off. Like, he really could have won this whole year without throwing a whole pick. Throwing 41 touchdowns with no picks would have been crazy. But I do feel like he should get it. I don't think he's going to get it. I feel like they're going to give it to Josh Allen because Josh Allen hasn't been a golden boy for the whole year. But I do think it should be Lamar. I think he should win it. So that's my accolades, predictions. So I got Jaden Daniels, offensive rookie of the year. Defensive rookie, Jared Verse. Coach of the year, KOC. Defensive player, PS2. Offensive player of the year, Saquon. And MVP, my MVP is Lamar Jackson. And I will say this, if the Bengals would have somehow snuck into the playoffs, I would have picked them over Buffalo. And I'm not a Buffalo hater. Maybe not. I'm going to take that out. But I think Jamar Chase would have had a better chance if the Bengals would have got in. And Joe Burrow would have been up there in MVP if they just make the playoffs. And they would have had to been like a top 4 seed. Top 4 seed, maybe Joe Burrow would have been more consideration. But that means that they had to beat the Ravens out to get it done, but that's besides the point. Anyway, got me talking about the Bengals, but that's my Super Bowl prediction. I got the Baltimore Ravens winning, Lamar Jackson Super Bowl MVP and MVP of the league for me. And if this does happen, I don't know what a lot of people will say about Lamar Jackson, but hopefully this does happen so we can see. And yeah, so I'm probably gonna make a video going over the wild card games and going into the divisional round, and maybe change predictions and see if I stay flawless on this. And Like, comment, subscribe. Comment down below your who you think is gonna win the Super Bowl again. Turn on post notifications, and we should be back next week with another divisional round NFL video, going over the wild card games, who I think is going to win the division round. So, like, comment, subscribe, and have a blessed day.